russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. I want to talk about this first, though, bro. Here's what I want to talk about. Bro, I don't understand. I do understand because I know what their mindset is, and I don't even believe that they believe their mindset. I just think they use their mindset as an excuse. Stevie, what is the point? What is the point of building LA Knight, building LA Knight, building LA Knight, building LA Knight? He gets to Roman Reigns and he loses. So now he goes right back to the middle. They do this over and over and over again, bro. They did it with Jey Uso. They did it with Sami Zayn. Every single opponent of Reigns is they build them. They get there, they lose, and then they go right back to the middle of the pack. I mean, seriously, Stevie, like I'm watching this and they're doing all this with LA Knight, and Reigns is telling him, bro, you don't understand, man. You know, you're a cosplay version of my cousin. I'm going to leave you out in the desert. And Reigns basically does exactly what he says he's going to do. But Stevie, you know, in their minds, this elevated LA Knight because he got to be in a main event with Roman Reigns?
Yeah, he got the rub. So he's instantly over forever, even in loss. By the way, there was a conspiracy theory if you wanted the music.
Oh my God, hold on.
The second that Roman Reigns said that he was going to leave LA Knight out in the desert, already the rumor mill started that Vince Russo is working for WWE because that was infamously what he did to Ric Flair.
Exactly. But Ben, the whole rub theory, it doesn't work unless you continue to build the guy, and they never do that, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what they're doing is classic WWE, but I think it's right. I mean, a team that gets to the World Series as a out of nowhere kind of team is going to get their asses handed to them by somebody who's been there 4 or 5 times, right? Like, so they might have worked hard to get there and had that shine. Now you took him from Maxim Male Models, a manager, to where he is in 16 months. That's a pretty good up, you know, and them putting their chips on you. Even though we have a bigger plan, at least we're making somebody for our upper and mid card. Now he can spin out of that and go right with Logan Paul, and I think have something very meaningful right there because they both got up from celebrity to champ, and now he's in the LA Knight's in the upper mid card. So that would be interesting as well. We just needed something that is kind of filler and maybe not all killer, but at least we got this guy up. So I think they at least did business in making somebody. You're not going to take him all the way to the top because he's not ready for that spot yet.
Well, I want to push back a little bit on that if I could. I always used the perfect blueprint to make a permanent main event star was exactly how Randy Savage came into WWF at the time. Locals. Then he had like George Animal Steel. Then he had the IC belt. And then, he even tied in George Steele with that angle to cost him the belt at WrestleMania 3. But
King
then
of the Ring.
Savage, but then Savage went into the world title picture. And even if he went laterally away from the world title picture, it was because he had an angle with the Warrior. He had an angle with Crush. He had an angle with a bunch of different people during the run and even after the run. But Savage never dropped back down and did 50-50 matches with JD McDonough on Raw. Do you see what I mean?
Sure.
He stayed in that upper echelon. So once LA Knight gets up there, if he starts going 50-50 with an NXT guy, it's over. That's what kills it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Ben. I'm not talking about him getting there. I'm talking about at this point going forward, what do they do? Because that's where everybody seems to go right back down to the middle of the pack.
Well, I agree with Stevie, but I just go to my Rip Rogers mindset of guys or belts are for guys who can't get over with character. So yeah, sometimes a belt in the storyline means something, but a Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man with George the Animal Steel in a kidnapping, you know what I mean, in a Beauty and the Beast angle has its own draw. It doesn't need any belt attached to it as well. So using those parameters now, yeah, LA Knight jumped over that, you know, US continental or intercontinental title phase, and he's probably going to come back down to that. But what is the personal story that we are going to advance business and storyline with going forward out of that? I think Logan Paul's a good thing to mix him in there, where they're going to pop big for the segment to have them both in there, and you can do the whole LA Hollywood influencer stuff out of that. But
yeah,
go ahead.
You just think about, okay, you're saying that if Savage never won the IC belt, never had the IC championship match at WrestleMania, never won the world title, never had the angle with Hogan with the world title 2 years in a row, WrestleMania 4 and 5, that he would be just as over?
No.
But you see what I mean?
Like you can pivot out of a belt storyline into something personal, which is what I'm saying he should do.
The belt adds the stakes, but what I'm saying is LA Knight should have won the second tier title, one of them, and then elevated into the main event picture. Yeah. Now it looks like, well, you weren't good enough to be world champ. Here's your consolation prize.
That's the exact vibe I get every time I look at him, bro. Put him in there with Logan Paul. Put him in there with your Aunt freaking Tilly. Every time I look at him, I'm thinking, bro, you couldn't beat Roman Reigns. So where you going? Like where you go, bro? You couldn't beat the top guy. You couldn't beat the top dog. So where are you going?
Yeah, and you're not. I mean, same thing with Cody, and same thing with everybody else who hasn't been. You know, who hasn't.
The system is flawed. The system
is very flawed because, bro, their sacrifice. All Reigns is going over all these guys to build him up for freaking Cody. And bro, I am telling you, nobody outside of the WWE universe gives a shit about Cody Rhodes, bro. So you're sacrificing all this talent to get there when he's going to beat The Rock. Roman Reigns is going to beat The Rock in order to make Cody's victory seem so huge. Really, bro? If that's not forcing Cody Rhodes down my throat, I don't know what is, bro.
So what do you do to try and keep an LA Knight or even a Cody at that high level after they've done business for a tribal chief?
Bro, you've got to build these guys. I mean, that's the point. You've got to build them. Then at some point, you've got to pay it off at some point. I mean, come on, bro. Look at Jey Uso now on Raw.
Sure.
He's no over than he was before he lost to Roman Reigns. He's at this. They're not elevating anybody with the exception of Nikki Cross. Nobody's getting elevated, bro, because they get to Roman and they lose. And then you see them slide back down, bro. Stevie, am I right? Is that not the formula?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is that there's no slow burn. In other words, there's no competition for anything. So why is everybody hot-shotting and rushing stuff? There's a difference between obviously trying to make TV and ratings each week. What I would have done, if you're talking about Saudi Arabia, all the money in the world, and you could have saved LA Knight, you have LA Knight get injured before the match even happens in the building. They show him backstage. The forklift driver is flown over to Saudi Arabia to commit another murder because it's legal over there. So why not do it? So he says, no one can challenge me. Who's going to challenge me? The Rock's music hits and The Rock wins the title from Roman Reigns. If they do it, Spirit at 76, LA Knight costing Roman Reigns the title and helping The Rock. This spins Roman Reigns off with LA Knight until, say, Rumble with The Rock or something like that. I mean, that's all. But you're talking about unlimited money and you don't have a build. It would be Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but here's what I'll give you the perfect example. Here's what happened. This is where they are so flawed, okay? And I am a guy that booked for Austin. Bro, when you're building Austin to that title, and he's just about to get that title, what did you do, bro? somebody derailed him.
Swerve, yeah.
Somebody freaking screwed him. And because of that Austin character, before I can go back to that title, I'm going to take care of your ass.
Right.
So that protected Austin. Bro, what did they do? Here's the perfect example, bro. When they had Jey Uso against Roman Reigns, what happened? Jimmy came out and screwed Jey. Where did that go? That's the problem, bro. Now, if Jey would have been sidetracked and been on Jimmy's heels, but bro, no, Jey screws him, and that's totally forgotten. And now Jey takes a step backwards. That's the issue, bro.
Yeah, I totally follow, and I love that high level education for our listeners.
I mean, I think you beat LA Knight like clean like that. You beat LA Knight clean, or if somebody screws LA Knight, he immediately needs to go after that guy and beat him, and then get back on track for the title.
Right. It should have been somebody from jury duty. Yeah, somebody from jury duty comes down to do something so we can keep.
Or maybe Logan Paul. Now he goes after the U.S. title for that. I'll give it. I hate to pile on with these examples. Austin was probably the most over character outside of Rock during that time, and probably in the history of the company. So if Austin jobbed to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, are you saying that Austin's as over as he would be if he won? That's the general consensus. If you're talking about a blanket one-to-one analogy to LA Knight or Cody or anybody else, you're getting to the point they all fall short, and here's your consolation prize. So you're less over after that. Yeah, like I wouldn't want an angle with Roman Reigns right now because it would kill my career.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, you disagree with that, Ben?
Not at all. Not at all, dude. How am I going to disagree with two of the most brilliant minds in wrestling?
Disagree if you want.
They're not. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not even trying to say that they did it right or they did it wrong. They took a guy from a manager that was miscast and in 16 months made a top.
And that's great. And that's great. And then what?
And like you said, so we miss the piece. We miss a piece of who F's him over to spin out to keep his hero's journey going. And how many barriers do we throw up in the way where it's not his fault and that he's got to go handle his biz like that. So we're missing a component. I'm not like,
and that's realistic.
If he's doing an impersonation of The Rock in Austin, why aren't we doing an impersonation of all the business that got him there?
Bro, the reality of that situation
I can learn just as much as anybody else, man. It's the master's level education.
The reality of the situation is, if you cost me the heavyweight title, now I've got to take care of you, or else the next time I get a shot, you're going to do the same thing. Like it's 100% logical, but that's the piece they always miss. They
also didn't have Roman kiss him on his back.
Here's another example, guys. I swear to God, man, these freaking